All right, hey guys, welcome back to Total Tactics Football. It's Fran here, and with we're special guests in our community with Archit here, who has a very interesting kind of proposal for game week one. He's likely going to go with a bench boost this season to start, and so obviously the initial question I think that raises many people's alarms is why are you using a chip so early?
So the basic idea is bench boost is a possibly the most tricky chip that we have in this game, right? I have played last season. What I figured was bench boost is best played either just before, or just after a wild card. And when do you get a free wild card? That's right at the start of the season, right? So one is that it allows you to save a lot of dodgy transfers that you might do further in the game. And second, I think there are a lot of good premiums this season. And one of the problems that we could face potentially is wanting to triple up on those premiums. And that possibly wouldn't leave us with a lot of option or a lot of money in the bank to go for a decent bench boost. Whereas right now, when a lot of premiums are not in the picture, with Kane not certain, no Lukaku around, no De Bruyne around, I think there's a great potential for these value picks, the sorts of Simicas, Benrahma, Harrison even. So I think there's a great upside to this bench boost, early bench boost this season particularly.
Okay, that's great. And to be honest, another nice little thing about an early bench boost too is you kind of attack a lot of those great prices at the start of the season, and I can kind of see you doing that. Let's have a look at your team here. So I mean, you have Pickford, who has very nice fixtures with Everton. You have Trent, Shaw, Simicas, and Salah, who are more template players, I would argue. And then Rafinha, who's considered, I think, by most people in the community as a set and forget player. Son as a basically second captaincy and alternative to Bruno. Some people, of course, have tripled up on those players, but then you have kind of Benrahma and Antonio, which is, I think, probably the most strongest, I think, like mid-table double up that we have. West Ham, of course, were a fantastic attack last year, and I guess the gamble is more on Benrahma stepping up to the plate and kind of filling that Lingard void with Ings and Greenwood both, being at a solid price at 8 and 7.5 with the ability to kind of move up. And what I like about, your bench is that you're still not, you know, losing too much money on the bench, with Tony and let's say Pickford, because the standard would be to have a 4.5 keeper. We're really talking about maybe, an additional, I would say like 2.5 million, 3 million in terms of players who would ultimately end up in your bench. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me to actually kind of go with this team. What do you think about the impact of COVID? Is that partially another reason why you want to have a deeper team, or do you think it'll have less impact this year?
Well, I definitely think it will have lesser impact than the last season, that's for sure. But having said that, I do think it will still play a part this season. But the bench boost specifically wasn't inspired by that.
Hmm.
Bench boost, the simple reason for that was we have value options at the start, and it allows me to attack the wild card that I play. Because then when I play the wild card, I can go for like two non-playing players on the bench, or possibly one. That'll depend on the team structure back then. And then I can optimize on those premiums and go for the maximum value picks. So that is the idea. COVID definitely is an issue, but I think it'll, with fans coming in and things restoring to somewhat normal, I think we'll see less of that hopefully this year.
Okay, that makes sense. And I mean, just an interesting thing, of course, is so you have a Martin Simicast, so something that I think has become rather template very quickly, due to the Andy Robertson injury. But there's news, of course, that Vestergaard could come in, from Southampton and could be signed maybe over the course of the next week. And he probably doesn't start game week
Right.
one, but he could maybe, threaten Martin's position at game week two and three. Like, how do you feel about that kind of situation?
Fair. So in that sort of a situation, I still have four playing defenders and one non-playing Formula defender, which is not really out of the question.
Hmm.
We do that a lot of times in previous seasons as well. We've done that. Other than that, I have got zero point 0.5 million balance in this team right now in the bank, so I can always upgrade from Amarty to a 4.5. I'm not sure which 4.5s will emerge by then, but someone I'm really looking at is Cody at Wolves, because their fixtures will turn by then, and he could possibly offer some value. And the third point that I'm really considering is that I'm really hopeful that a lot of us will play an early wild card.
Mhm.
Now I'm not too stuck on that. I might wildcard early, I might wildcard later. I don't have a fixed plan just yet, but I think a lot of us will do that because of Kane's and Lukaku's coming in, and possibly De Bruyne getting fit. So our team structure will really be, you know, completely turned around. So a wild card kind of allows me to deal with that.
Okay, that's a fair point. I mean, I guess when people look at your team, one of the early alarms is going to be no Fernandez. Do you
Yeah.
think there's a reason for that? Do you think Greenwood covers Fernandez enough, or is there any kind of other reason why you might not have gone with Fernandez to start?
Yeah. So interestingly, in this team, I could actually go for Fernandez if I downgraded Greenwood to Harrison. I could go from Son to Bruno because I have point 0.5 in the bank. So it was a conscious choice to not go for him, because going for Harrison would mean doubling up on Leeds,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I see value in Greenwood. I think with all of the United's attackers being out for the initial part of the season, no Cavani, possibly no Martial, no Rashford, Sancho might not start the first game either. So there's a lot. The thing with Greenwood is he gives you points whenever he's on the pitch, right? So if I see such a huge potential for Greenwood starting, there's no reason for me to go Fernandez over Greenwood and miss out on Son's points, because I think Son is a great option. He has great 2, 3, and 4 fixtures, game week 2, 3, 4 fixtures, and he has a great record against City as well. So I think he can score in that first game week as well. So I think Greenwood, if not entirely, somewhat covers Bruno's points, and
Mhm.
that in addition allows me to go for Tottenham attack.
Okay, makes sense. And just going back to the kind of wild card that you were talking about. So you said that you have quite a general kind of philosophy on being flexible around the wild card. But
Yeah.
you mentioned obviously like Lukaku coming in. Are you interested in that kind of crucial kind of game week 7 window where those Chelsea fixtures start to turn really good? Because I've noticed that obviously a lot of us in the community don't really, or haven't really chosen to go with Chelsea players, and perhaps even the 120-minute game versus Villarreal kind of factors into that decision making. But how do you generally feel about addressing the lack of Chelsea players as well?
So not going for Chelsea at the start of the season was very understandable, because the first fixture is obviously outstanding,
Yeah.
but after that the fixtures get tricky. Plus, there's a lot of uncertainty with Chelsea in the initial phase, like who are the players who are really going to start, especially in the defense, with Chilwell potentially being out for game week 1. And so the fixture structure kind of allows us to assess their situation. It is somewhat similar to the situation at Wolves. The fixture structure allows us to assess the situation, assess their style of play, and then we can take a call whether we want to invest in their players or not. And I am really optimistic about their players. Like, I definitely intend to invest in their attack come game week 6, game in their defense. Sorry, come game week 6, game week 7, and I potentially could look at Lukaku, but I really think that Kane might edge it for me over Lukaku, because obviously, given that I expect Kane to remain at Spurs. So given that the fixture run for Spurs could get better later in the season, so yeah, I am more inclined towards Kane over Lukaku.
Okay, that's a fair point to be honest. Just kind of looking at your kind of double striker pairing, I think ideally. So you obviously have the capacity to, let's say, going forwards, play a 3-5-2 and also a 3-4-3. But I imagine it's really about kind of making sure you can kind of secure that kind of ownership with Tony within the structure, and then having players like Greenwood at a 7.5 price point that are kind of very much interchangeable. But do you kind of see you having maybe like fixture issues or like selection issues past the bench boost because of how strong potentially like both your midfield and attack is?
I don't really think so, because there's always like in the players that I have, they're from different attacking teams,
Yeah.
and like it's just Benrahma and Antonio doubling up on the same team. So there's always this one team or two teams who do usually have a bad fixture, and if it's anyone amongst Benrahma, Tony, I can easily bench them, no issues there. In fact, even Rafinha, I wouldn't want to bench, but in a situation where everyone else has great fixtures, I wouldn't mind benching him. So that's not really a concern. Besides, in another 2 or 3 game weeks, I might downgrade to a 4.5 to upgrade somewhere else. So that is a possibility as well.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Just kind of looking at Pickford, do you kind of think that you'll be touching him at all, or how do you kind of plan to handle the balance between, let's say, Sanchez and Pickford?
So Pickford obviously has great fixtures in the initial weeks.
Yeah.
Brighton is expected to do well as well. They have a great fixture run as well. But obviously, a lot of defensive players in their team are kind of iffy right now. Lamptey is out, White is out. I'm not sure what is the situation with some of their other defenders as well. So I'm not too confident on their defense, even though I have doubled up on them. But that's surely because of the value that they offer, and I'm not too certain by them. So Pickford somewhat allows me that opportunity that in case Brighton does not do well defensively, I have someone who I can rely on, because Everton's new manager, he's known to be defensively solid, even though Everton doesn't necessarily have great defensive stats, but I think they'll do decently given their run of fixtures. So I don't really mind the Pickford pick initially. And I'm pretty certain that most of us will definitely wildcard by game week 8, if not game week 4. So by then, I can still stick with Pickford and Sanchez, and then I can possibly move one out on the wild card. But I really don't see downgrading Pickford to 4 million, unless, of course, I have 2 free transfers and nothing else to do.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you think you have any kind of fixtures planned, or is it kind of similar to, or transfers planned rather, or is it kind of similar to your philosophy on wildcards where you're a bit more flexible? I mean, given the fact that obviously your team allows for a lot of flexibility too.
Right. So the great thing about this, as you mentioned, that it allows for a lot of flexibility. It can allow me basically to go for literally any player I want, except maybe a Jota or a Mane. But I'd argue that most of us wouldn't be able to get to them easily anyway, because we all have triple Liverpool in Simicast, Salah, and Trent. So the idea is just to be flexible, be around those relevant price points. But having said that, one of the potential options that I could be looking in the future game weeks is potentially going for from Benrahma to Harrison maybe, or an Ings to Bamford, because Benrahma still has good fixtures, but the Aston Villa fixtures, we obviously know they get tricky game week 4 onwards, and Leeds, the fixtures for Leeds get really good, I think, game week 5 onwards. So that's a great switch there. And it's more about these two players and possibly Tony that I might look to fiddle around with. But I'm pretty certain that the rest of the team is good to go for a while right now. And Greenwood has many options at that price point. So I can directly swap him out for a 7.5, 7, even 6.5, possibly Wendy, Bowen, someone like that. So there are a lot of options to play around with. I have no fixed transfers in my mind right now.
Okay, and generally, just given the fact that you've gone for bench boost, which will obviously kind of maximize your points early on, and you kind of have that kind of double 4.0 defense with that kind of money in the bank. Is your general kind of approach to the start of the season more based on accumulating a little bit more value and being able to kind of convert that into a nice wild card, or do you think that the idea here is just that you're attacking fixtures and kind of points?
So the last year, my primary objective was to attack value. I tried going for building as much value as I could. I played those early transfers, and sometimes they didn't go as planned. So this year, I am a little more conservative towards attacking those early price rises. But at this point, the idea of wildcard came to me just because of the emergence of Simicast and Amartey and Benrahma, the likes of these players as options, because I realized they're great value options. And I really wanted to go for some like Bruno or Son, and even Mahrez for that matter. But then I realized that these are great players. They are great players in the 6 million bracket, 6.5 million bracket, that I really want to go for. But these big hitters are kind of blocking me towards that, and I really wanted them. So I just saw an opportunity where I could potentially have all of these, plus get one of my chips out of the way, which could potentially trouble me later in the season. So I think this is the perfect time to bench boost right now.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And to be honest, like just speaking from my own experience, I think when Simicast came up, one of the issues is that I struggled to really completely use my budget correctly, in attack
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
midfield. And I think it more than ever, like we have a true opportunity to use the bench boost. But anyways, thank you so much for your thoughts today, Archit. So I think very interesting for us to kind of look at a proposal for a bench boost. And I think the arguments are really there if you want to be a bit riskier and actually use your bench boost, because as Archit's kind of outlined early on in the episode, I think a lot of things that managers will deal with, even if they have fixtures or kind of some sort of transfer plan in place, is that ultimately you are trying to build or you fall into the trap of trying to build towards a really strong bench boost in kind of key game weeks that you've kind of outlined far in advance. When you start out the season, you are kind of fresh and you have a little bit less kind of knowledge of how players will do, but you still have the opportunity to maybe maximize on some players who are still at very affordable prices right now. So it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for joining us today, Archit. Do you have any kind of other closing thoughts as well?
Thank you so much, Fran. And there's this one activity that I'd encourage you to pursue. I'm trying to incline you towards going for a bench boost as well. Just make a bench boost out. Just make one and
Okay.
see the differences that you observe from your regular draft. Because for me, there were like 2 or 3 changes, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So try making one. If you still don't like the draft, fair enough. But I really think you will like the draft, and I don't think there's any reason to not go for a bench boost right now. So
Okay.
yeah, you can do
Great.
that.
Well, thank you for that. All right. Thank you guys for watching the video. We'll see you guys in the next video, where I'll probably upload my final kind of game week 1 team. And look out for that kind of deadline stream where, we'll be discussing with you, rating your teams right before the deadline and potentially looking at kind of any last minute news.